Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the Hummel. It's the Tier 6 German SPG. It's located on the southwest spawn of Karelia, and it's under the command of talon1958 of OLIMP. And yes, it's his first submission for this week's lie-in competition. As you know, every week he has a contest with angelina75 as partner to get the best Arty replay from the week, so they can enjoy a nice, relaxing Sunday morning lie-in. The person who loses actually has to get up early on Sunday and look after their little boy, so it's nice for both of them to actually get a rest once a week if they can. Now, he's using the stock howitzer, of course, because that is much more accurate than the top gun, which may fire over the entire range of the map, but it's got a very flat trajectory. So using the stock gun actually means he gets more ammo, more shots, and of course he's got a faster reload. Okay, he's ready to go, looking for a target. And he's found one straight away, an M4A1. He's lining up the shot and letting it settle. Rounds out. Direct hit with his first shot, 157. Now this howitzer is capable of doing 480 alpha, 38mm pen, 6.7 meters on the blast radius, and between 6.5 and 10.5 seconds of stun. Of course, he could always use the non-stun if he'd selected any, but of course he gets 27 rounds of ammunition with the stock, and therefore it does make sense for him to maximize the amount of stun he can get on the enemy. Now he is getting closer, and there is a bit of risk doing this, but the thing is, the shell's trajectory is much higher, which means that targets that hide behind rocks can be hit much more easily. It looks like most of the enemy tanks decided not to come down this route. Now that M4A1 is taking damage from the horseshoe itself at the moment, and wow! We just received fire from the Zanimika on our own team. Not very clever. Well, he managed to get around near the M4 to stun him. I think you can see the points where the shells hit from the Zanimika. Now he probably thinks that Talon is out of place. He's not. There is a way of actually playing the Arty to support the tanks by being very close to them. Honestly, I've tried it myself. It does work very, very well. And those of you who like to see the rescue, yes, I've got it working again. He just got a direct hit on the box tank. I found out that somebody secretively managed to get... Oh dear, that wasn't good for the T1. Somebody managed to package a program, an antivirus program, in with one of their programs, and as a result it was blocking the mod from working. So yes, I've managed to fix that now, and we can see the rescue. Now you just saw he actually did manage to get a hit near the Panzerfahr Ausrung H, but only got 76 hit points for it, but he's firing again, and this time round he gets a much bigger amount, 209 and one critical hit. But you can see the enemy Arty's trying to capture him as well, hits him, and now we can see an SU-122 too. Okay, so we do need to be here to help our teammates, otherwise they might be in a lot of trouble. Okay, that Panzerwehr is moving down into the pass, and there's a CDT coming up on him as well. We managed to get some stun there, but that CDT is getting very close. And we've only got the Churchill 7 guarding us at the moment. So things are not looking good. Talon's looking a little further back than he needs to, but he can kill this Panzerwehr, and he does. One shot was all he needed because the guy was fairly low on hit points after the 2 shots he fired before. Well, 3 shots he fired before. Okay, now the CDT just took some damage, but he just killed our Easy 8, and now it is just that Churchill 7 between us and him. Bounce out. Oh, well, that's revenge. And you can see now that the Churchill 7 just managed to get the kill on the KV-1 shielded, whilst Talon killed the CDT. So he now has 2 kills. Okay, we can see the SU-122, and he's siding behind the Churchill 7, basically on the horseshoe. But now we've got support pulling up in the form of the SU-85 and the Jagdpanzerwehr. We fire 1 round at the spot where the enemy was. Oh, we lost the SU-85 though to the SU-122, and he's also gone down. Here's the change South Pass after that incident, after the bombing raid. It does change the pass quite considerably, doesn't it, if you blow up the bunker. Okay, we can't easily fire over that rubble, but there's only 3 enemies left, and 2 of those are Arty. The other one is a Cromwell. So now he can widen his position and get a bit closer, especially now he knows that one of the enemy Arty is a bishop. Dialing in to make it more effective. Let it settle. Rounds out. Looks good. Gets a hit. 130. Well, the Cromwell's gone down, so everyone's now going for the enemy Hummel and the bishop. Okay, well, the bishop's been exposed and he's gone. So it's just the Hummel now. Now, we're loaded, we're ready to go. We're using the concentration skill. We're just trying to work out where the Hummel is. There it is. He's in range. Rounds out. Long flight time. That is a kill. So 3 kills for Talon, and that's the end of his game. Well, it must have been confusing to the Zadimika player that an Arty was actually going in with the tanks to try and destroy the enemy tanks in the South Pass, because normally Arty don't move from the initial spot, or at least they seek cover at the back of the map. Talon knows that if you use the W key, you can actually follow your tanks into the South Pass, sit at the back behind them, but then lob shells over the top of them at the enemy, which makes it easier for them to kill the enemy. And in this case, it did work, and Talon picked up 3 kills in the game. He got a second-class tanker out of it. He also got a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 11. And his win rate from the game was 2,290, which is very good indeed. Let's have a look at the team score. Well, we can see he didn't get the highest damage in the game. That went to the Churchill 7 on our team, who did survive and got 1,674 hit points of damage. Second highest damage went to the Skoda T25, who actually got a Confederate, but didn't survive the battle. And the third place, well, that goes to the KV2R, who also got a steel wall, and he survived the battle as well. Talon was actually in 4th place on damage, beating the SU-2 122 on the enemy team. He got 1,271 hit points of damage in the game. When it came to kills, though, he shared the top spot with the Churchill 7. In fact, I'm pretty sure he saved the Churchill 7 from getting hit by that CDT, because he landed a round right on the guy, which wiped him out. So 3 kills to each of those 2, and 2 kills went to the CDT on our team, the Jagdpanzerwehr or Flat Panzer, and the SU-2 122 and CDT on the enemy team. And when it came to base XP, we can see that Talon's actually down in 5th place on base XP. Top scorer was the Churchill 7 again, 895, which means he's got the top in all 3 columns. 775 went to the Skoda and 774 went to the KB2R, with, of course, Talon getting 628. He fired only 12 rounds, but those rounds were very effective because he got 7 direct hits and 1 penetrating shot out of the game and 11 splash. Now, I'm pretty sure the penetrating shot was the last one he fired, which actually hit the Hummel and blew him to pieces. He also got 11 splashes in the game, 1,271 hit points of damage, all of it at more than 300 meters. He damaged 7 of the enemy, killed 3 of them, so missed out on getting a Confederate by 2 tanks that he needed to have touched but not actually killed. 148 hit points of damage assistance. He caused 9 stuns, but didn't get any stun assists out of that game because his teammates weren't hitting them. And of course, the Hummel doesn't produce much stun anyway because it normally dies out before your teammates can actually get their finger out and shoot at them. He actually made a profit of 159,873 credits on that game, on a tier 6 game, because he got a mission completion bonus of 135,000. So very well done on that. He also picked up 1,884 experience points out of the game as well. So very nice start to the contest for this week for Talon in the Hummel. But will Angelina be able to beat him? Here's the second battle, and this is the M53 M55. It's the tier 9 American SPG with 2 marks on it. It's on the east spawn of Malinovka, and this one is under the command of Angelina75 of OLIMP, and it's her first submission the following day after Talon did his replay. Game on. As you can see, loads of marks of excellence, or rather not marks of excellence, but the achievements for actually getting huge numbers of kills and ace tankers and the like. Okay, it's a 8-inch howitzer, 900 alpha, 52mm of pen, 10.5 meters on the blast radius, between 12.5 and 28 seconds of stun, and Angelina's actually aiming towards the hill on her first shot. Tree's just gone down. Indication somebody is in the wood having a quick look. In fact, more trees have just gone down, but they're actually falling towards their cap area. She's fired in. Now, I think that did touch someone, because somebody was pushing the trees down towards the cap area to act as cover for their actions against the hill. So they're trying to use that position later on. And you can see a number of our tanks have gone up the hill. And as we saw at the start, there could be a random event happening on the hill. So we'll have to keep that in mind. Now, she's proactively aiming in that general direction because there's a possibility an Object 452K is up there. But this is what's more tempting to me, because obviously when you see enemy heavies going up the hill and they're side onto you, there's a very good chance you can actually get a lot of assist by nailing them as they go up the hill. It does depend on your teammates getting spots on them, but because they're moving backwards and forwards, it actually does make it easier to get hits. And because your teammates can see them, that means that you can also get loads of stun assist. Well, the enemy have sent their Object 452K across, and he fell into the water. Oh, the shell fell short on this occasion. But Angelina's going to change position to avoid count battery. There is 2 enemy Artys. They've got an Object 261 and an M53, and as you probably saw, we've actually got the reloads back, because of course we found out what was going wrong. Standard reload on this Arty. If I get my notes in the right place. Let's try it again on the 452K. 40.27 seconds is the standard reload, but Angelina's knocked that down to 32.46. Yes, as I mentioned earlier, it's actually was down to the antivirus that we actually wasn't able to get the mod working. Damocles, which is the Arty site, which gives you the countdown and the time for each shot. Okay, so the event is happening on top of the hill. We've got aircraft coming in, and one of them's about to crash into the windmill. I think we might be about to lose a tank, actually. Well, we lost the Vickers 3, and it looks like the enemy are doing rather well back at our cap area. In fact, oh, we just lost a G-Saw to a Leopard jumping on top of him. So things are not going so well over in this area, but Angelina fires the shell in, and it lands just behind the enemy target. Okay, our guys have suddenly discovered that they're out of position. Too many of them went up the hill, and now the guys that are closest to the cap area are desperately trying to fend off the attack. Angelina's positioned herself nicely. Okay, unit 16. The reticule comes around, the turret swings in that direction. She's looking up the lake area. We can't see the enemy that's near our cap, but she can see this E75 or M53. Going for the T30. Rounds out. I can't understand why that one didn't hit the target. It may have been RNG decided not to land it near where Angelina wanted it. We're one tank down, but it's still not critical because the enemy have lost a few tanks down near the cap area. So we're still going for this E53. Yes, I know, I'm practicing my German when I do this. I should speak more German, actually, because my grandma was German. Well, that was a hit in the side of the E53. Got it right that time. Yes, I could tell a few stories about my grandma, but she was actually a spy for MI6 back in before the war. Quite a few stories. I may have told them, actually. You may have actually heard about them. But yes, she was actually a spy working for British intelligence, supplying them with details and the blueprints for German warships. I know, she did lead an interesting life. She was actually part of the opposition group against Hitler, and it was a bunch of intellectuals that she was with. Most of them, well, they were all spies for British intelligence, but they were doing what they could, and she had access to the blueprints on German warships that were actually brought home by the designers. Well, they were brought down by the owner of the shipyard that was actually building them. He would actually have his study down there and in his house, and inside the study where all the blueprints were drawn up, and she would use one of those pocket cameras, spy cameras, to actually take pictures of the blueprints and then send the film back to Britain on the merchant ships that my grandfather used, well, was captain of. I thought that one of those shells would actually hit the target, but it didn't. Yes, my grandmother did have an interesting life because she was actually actually acting as the nanny for the German industrialist who was actually building the ships. So she would have the full roam of the house, so to speak, and they weren't really concerned about the ship builders' security. So she was never actually found out, but eventually what happened was that German intelligence, or rather the Gestapo, did manage to capture one of the spies And so British intelligence knew that she would be, sooner or later, he would give up her name. And so they immediately processed an extraction of her from Germany and brought her over to the UK. This was actually very awkward because, you see, at the time, my father, who was only 6 years old at the time, was a German citizen. Oh, beautiful shot! And so, if she left Germany with her son, the German citizen, they would stop him at the dockyards. I don't know how that guy managed to get round us, because I think the Leopard was one of the ones who actually killed our guys down near the cap, but he just got nuked by the BZ-75. So yes, I could probably tell you the story. Oh, another miraculous shot from Angelina. Yes, there was a very interesting story about how they got my father out of Germany. What they did is a friendly doctor who knew that my mother was a British agent actually drugged my father with morphine so he fell asleep. They put him into a coffin so that he was fast asleep, and the coffin had holes in it so he could breathe. And then they took the coffin down to the dockyard and gave the dockyard or security on the gates, the police on the gates, papers showing that he was somebody who had died and was being repatriated to the UK. So they thought that he was a dead British man, and they didn't want to open the coffin because it was all sealed up. And my father was lying in the coffin, drugged up to the eyeballs, so he didn't know what was going on. And they managed to smuggle him out, and he went to Great Britain. And as soon as they were past the 12-mile limit where they couldn't be stopped, they got him out of the coffin, and then obviously it was explained when he arrived in Britain, and he was given a British passport and of course British nationality. There are many more stories I could actually tell you, and probably should someday actually, but it's quite interesting that my grandmother carried on working for the Brits throughout the war, and her husband, of course my grandfather, was away at sea most of the time. Well, he had some interesting things happen to him as well. Now you can see what's actually been going on in the battle, which I have been commenting on. Oh, that was a good one. The Bobject took a hit for 235. It stopped him, tracked him. He's burned his repair kit to get back up and running. But there's only 3 enemies left. They've got this Bobject, a 261, and the FV215B183, a Death Star. And you can see he's chasing this 780 at this moment, but I think they've turned the tables on the guys. There's only 4 left on our team, but Angelina's being very active. And she got the stun assist on that one by stunning him, slowing him down, and distracting him at just the right moment. Angelina has been taught by Talon to use the WP, and she does use it on a regular basis. And this is why she's so successful. She actually does take into account the circumstances and actually move to preserve her part in the game. Now the enemy is capping, but so are we. And there's only 2 left on the enemy team, so all we have to do is go into the cap. And that's definitely, we're going to beat him on the cap. But I think Angelina's probably going to sit herself behind that rock to make sure that nobody can fire around directly at her. Okay, the Death Star is probably up the hill somewhere, but of course, if he does appear, we will get sighting of him. In the meantime, she's going to fire into the enemy cap area. Now you have to change position, because if you fired, you gave away your spot. And now we've got the T92 turning up, so he's another player who knows about the value of that WP. Of course, if you're a fan of Steve Walst and Honest Gaming, you'll know he actually sometimes uses his W key to win games. And look at this, she's done it. She's won the game. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was a second-class tanker for Angelina75 of OLIMP in the M53 M55. She managed to get a Bruce medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, she managed to get 9, and she got a win rate of 1,410, which is good. Let's have a look at the team score. Well, unfortunately, it wasn't the highest damage. That actually went to the BZ75, who managed to get 5,091 hit points of damage before he was taken out. Second highest damage was the Object 432 on the enemy team, and he managed to get a Lever Slaves medal and 4,589 hit points before he was taken out of the game. The third highest on damage turned out to be the Object 780, one of the tanks that we actually helped towards the end. He got a Pascucci's medal and a Top Gun with 3,880, and we can see Angelina got 1,365 and was one of the 4 tanks left on her own team, and there was only 1 player left on the enemy team, which meant the Death Star was actually in the enemy cap, or in our cap rather, on the other side of the battlefield, and that's why he wasn't moving. Anyway, when it comes to kills, we can see the high scorers were the Object 780 with his 6 kills, his Top Gun. 4 kills went to the Object 432 on the enemy team, and 2 kills went to the Object 261 on the enemy team, who did get wiped out, and also to the BZ75, the Object 452K, and Angelina as well with 2 kills. So she's actually in second place when it comes to kills. When it came to base XP, Angelina's in 4th place because the top scorer was the 780, who managed 1,094, the only player to get over 1,000 base in the game. 952 went to the BZ75, 874 to the K91, and then Angelina in 4th place with 810. Angelina fired only 15 rounds in the game. This Arty does carry 20 rounds, so she did have enough ammo to keep going the entire battle. 3 direct hits on the enemy, none of them penetrated though, and 15 splash. Damage of 1,365 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. She damaged 7 of the enemy, killed 2, and did 344 hit points of stun assist of 12 stuns. And she got 37 capture points right at the end of the game, and of course they capped out to win. On a premium count, Angelina made 64,223 credits profit, including a 65,000 mission completion bonus and 2,430 experience points out of the game as well. So it was a good game, but unfortunately Talon is still in the lead. Yes, it was the second class and bruiser that he managed to get. We go back and see his figures. Yes, second class and bruiser, but Talon managed 2,290 on the win 8, and Angelina got 1,410. And under the rules, if all the others are tied and there's tied on medals, there was no medals in either of the games, then it goes down to the win 8. And in this case, I'm afraid Talon has beaten Angelina, even though she had a really good game and was there at the end to actually, win by capping out. And of course, Talon won his game as well, but it wasn't a cap out. It was a kill all scenario. But it was very, very interesting. So I expect that we'll probably be seeing more replays from Angelina later on in the week if she gets a chance. But I'm sure that Talon is going to put up a good fight because he wants another lion after winning last week's. Hope you enjoyed both those. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.